Hey viewers, Safari Outfitter here. A lot of my Facebook friends, a lot of people that subscribe to my videos have been asking me about my Becker knives and my Sheaths. It is one of my favorite knives, so that's one of the reasons why I'm always showing it on videos. And a lot of people have talked about how I've done my modifications, and I'm going to go over real quick what's worked really well and what hasn't worked. So if you've been watching my videos, the first video I did, well, let me start with a standard sheath. Had my first BK2, and came with a standard sheath, had a huge belt loop with a drop down attachment, secondary retention, and was held in place here. And like I said, if you saw the first video that I ever did, this was the sheath that I modified. And put the 550 cord around it, and that made it tighter up here so that this held onto the handle. I stitched it here so I had a high and low, or I had two different places I could wear it on my belt, either kind of dangling, so if I have a hip strap or something like that, it kind of stayed out of the way, or if I wanted to wear it high, so if I was sitting down, this didn't dig into the ground. And then I moved the retention strap a little farther down, so I could just open my thumb. And then I stuck a Allen wrench in the back, so that if I was batoning or using the knife really hard, and the handle started to come loose, I'd be able to tighten the bolts back up. I've really only had to do that with the Gravois scales. I haven't had a problem with the Kydex. Excuse me, not Kydex, the micarta scales. So that was my first modification. Second sheath I did was, again, I wrapped it with the 550 cord, and I put a Allen wrench in the back, relocated the secondary retention strap, but I'd taken a clip from a rat cutlery sheath and kind of modified the back of the sheath so it would mount to it. Originally I thought this was going to be a great idea, but turns out the retention is so good between these two straps that if I'm not real cautious about breaking this retention first and propping my thumb against the sheath to withdraw the knife, what ended up happening was that this would just come off my belt. The whole sheath and knife would come off my belt. So this modification I actually kind of consider a failure. It doesn't work out really well. If I have a thicker belt, like maybe a rigger's belt or a heavy duty not nylon, leather belt, and I've attached it to that, it usually does pretty good. But if I've got a thin hiking belt, like a lot of times I just wear a 511 belt, it'll slide right off. So this sheath I actually considered a failure. I thought it was going to work out really nice, but it didn't work out quite as expected. Going on from that sheath, I tried a different modification. Again, relocated the secondary strap, got the 550 cord, I put the Allen key in the back, and I got this quick clip that I could use on PALS attachments, or just slide my belt through. And it worked out pretty well. I didn't have the same problem. I could pull the knife. I didn't have to prop the sheath open with my thumb in order to get it out, because now it was a solid retention. The only problem with this is it's uncomfortable to wear. And it's very similar to the Fast Tech buckles, and I've done that. I've done the sheaths with the Fast Tech buckles as well. Matter of fact, if I go back to this sheath with the clip, you see I've got these holes here. I tried doing the Fast Tech buckle on that too, so wasn't really happy with either one of those. Kept on searching, looking for something else good. Came across this. This is a Kydex sheath done by Chestnut Ridge Knife Works. Not too uncomfortable to wear, though it has a huge belt attachment. I've tried a couple different loops to see what would work best, and I always end up coming back to the original setup. But it's compact, fits the knife very securely. You don't have a secondary retention, but it's tight. It's not going anywhere. And then I attached a fire still loop to the side. So this sheath works out pretty good. The only thing is I can't, or I don't have a place to stick the Allen key. At least I haven't rigged anything like that yet. But this sheath has actually gone into the box because it's not one of the ones I like right off the bat. As we go through sheaths, I've got the Generation 2 sheath that's been coming out with the new Beckers. And anybody that's bought this already kind of figured out this sucks. As soon as you unstrap the knife, it flops because of the weight of the knife. So I will probably maybe do a stitching on this, just like I did the original sheath, to see how that works out. And this will you can take the clip that comes from Rat Cutlery. Let me call them SA now. They're no longer called Rat Cutlery. The clip will mount onto the back of this. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can dig one out. This is a standard clip that you can get for the SA5, and I think it works with the SA6 too. They're about $15 from their website, and it does line up with the holes on the BK2 sheath, the new generation. The only thing you have to do is you have to put a little spacer because of this piece right here, the swell of the grip doesn't quite line up, and also because of the swell right here. So you do have to put a little spacer. Okay, let's see, next sheath. Well, in frame right here is one of my original Camillus Beckers with the leather sheath. It's alright, it's not too fancy. As you can see how it's put together. But I will go to a fancy leather sheath. Hedgehog Leather Works. My friend Paul Scheider over from Hedgehog sent this to me, and his craftsmanship is top notch. I carried this sheath with me when I went up to Dave Canterbury's training in South Carolina, and I used it and abused it, and I really liked it. Now these are a little pricey. I think this one goes for $190 before shipping, or it might be $190 with shipping. I don't remember the exact cost. And this is the basic model, and he also sells another version that has a fire steel that mounts in between these two leather straps here and holds a Allen key on the side on the back up here. So Paul does some great work, really happy with this. The only thing is if you're wearing a thin belt, like I said, I like to wear the 511 belts, is that it'll start to creep up and it'll shift on you. If you've got a thicker leather belt or a thick rigger's belt, it'll stay parallel, it'll stay level to the ground. If you got a real thin belt, it'll start canting one way or the other, just because it's got the plate, it's able to move around in there. So let's see, next sheath. A lot of people have asked about this leather sheath. This was shown in my kayaking video. I had a gentleman from one of the forums that I go to. He made this for me. I think he charged me about 75 bucks after shipping to my house. Very nice craftsmanship, liked it. The only thing, I don't know if it's going to show up in the video, you can see it kind of swells here. I don't know if he did that on purpose or it was accidental. But it's, it's not contoured specifically to the blade. However, it is a nice tight fit. Knife is not going anywhere. I'm going to contact him and see if he's comfortable producing these for people. If so, I'll link his address down below, where I'll also probably put it on my Facebook page. If he's not interested in producing these, I'm just going to let him stay anonymous. Let's see, next sheath. Back to Chestnut Ridge Knife Works. If you're looking for a good combination right out of the factory, ready to go, like I said, the new knives come with this piece of garbage sheath. From Chestnut, you can order the knife sheath combo with the micarta grips, and I think it was about 150 bucks, and it's a pretty good deal. And the other thing too about their grips is they changed the mounting hardware. You can see that these are flush screws, and the scales are straight across. There is no contour to them like you'd see on a regular Becker. So we got a little bit of a contour here. These are flush. Now, a nice thing about this type of scale too is if you have smaller hands, it's easier to get a good grip on the knife. So that was a Chestnut knife. Yeah, Chestnut Ridge Knife Works, that's who it is. So pretty nice work from them. Now, currently, my setup that I have, had another guy do some custom work for me on one of the forums, and really happy with it. It came with came in a lighter leather, more like Paul's work. And after I coated it with some saddle soap and kind of treated it a little bit, it darkened up. But you can see it holds the knife pretty good. Comes with a standard belt loop on the back with a D-ring. And then I had him, the original drop down that he made for me was just a single. I had him double it up, and I will probably have him make one more for me and actually make a quad retention on it. That way it's that much more secure. But if I'm just going out for a normal hike, I can wear it with this loop and let the D-ring dangle down there. If I'm wearing a pack with the load distribution, or I just want to be able to take this on and off real easy, I just hook up the drop down loop and I'm good to go. Got a Firesteel loop on the back. This is one of Paul Scheider's from Hedgehog's Fire Steels. I really like his work. He gives like an aluminum, machined aluminum piece up here with some bungee cord. So you can just slide it through your loop and hold it in place. And then one thing I like about this knife too, remember I said the other leather sheath had a swell down here. This one is more straight across. I hope all this is showing up in frame. So anyway, if this gentleman's willing to produce these for people, I'll make sure I post up his email address or a link to get a hold of him so he can make some sheaths for some folks. Another guy that does some good sheaths, and I don't have any of them here with me today, is Spen from JRE Custom Leatherworks. If you just put in JRE Custom Sheaths, he's got a horizontal sheath for the BK2, and pretty much of any idea you can come up with, he'll make for you. If you wanted something like this from him, he'll do it. He also does Falkhaven, Bark River, Cold Steel, you name it, he's making it. And his prices are reasonable for what you're getting, especially for the quality. And then I'm going to go back to the Becker. A lot of people have asked me about this, what I've been doing to it. Let me pull out a, let's see, where is it? Here's an old Camillus. Actually, that's not a good choice to do because they changed the K-bar. The Camillus, they changed the choil on that. You can see that I've changed the choil a little bit, and this came from a mistake. When I first modified the choil, I just made this a little bit larger so that a large diameter fire steel could go through here. And this was before I stripped it, and I wanted to be able to get a good spark without having to use the cutting edge of my knife. Well, when I did it, I kind of screwed up and I came out into the blade a little bit. So as I've modified the knife, I actually took it back here a little bit so that if I had to come up and get a tight grip for some fine work, and now it gave me a place to rest my finger. If I had to do it again, I'd probably do it a little bit differently, but that's worked out so far. You can see a little bit of corrosion on here. I've experimented with the patina. After I stripped it down the first time, I soaked it in white vinegar, and it came out really nice. And of course, after abuse and sharpening, I've taken the patina off, so then I've experimented. You can almost see a hint of tiger striping here. I was playing with some mustard, and again, I've already worn that off. I do abuse the heck out of this knife, and sometimes it's just by accident. I was cutting up a fake tree the other day and found out that once I cut through the limbs, they actually had it lined with aluminum tubing, so I've got to fix my edge a little bit here after cutting into metal. But I don't know if it's just showing up in frame. I've actually reprofiled this knife. It's a convex blade, and everybody's got their preference of how they like their knives. I'm actually very partial to the convex. I like using a strop with it, and it's worked out really well for me. And of course, I've got the micarta grips. These are the ones that you just pick up from K-bar, and a little 550 cord to give me a little something to hang on to in case I'm using this for chopping or something like that. So yeah, that was the main difference between the BK coming from the factory to what I've done now. Like I said, I've changed the choil, reprofiled it, and stripped it down and patinaed it. And then of course, if you're not familiar, the new ones come with a pommel in the back, and they're hollow inside the handle here, where the new ones, I'm sorry, the older ones didn't have the pommel and were solid on the inside. So there you have it. I think that's pretty much everything I've got for the BK2. Sorry I haven't put any videos out for a while. I've just been working on my personal career. Some of you have seen my law enforcement EDC. It's just pretty much my duty gear video. Everybody really liked that. As a matter of fact, that's the most popular video I've got right now. So yeah, concentrating on my personal career, and then you know, some of you have seen in my other videos, I've got he's not quite a newborn anymore, but I've got a young son, so he eats up a lot of my time. Anyway, things coming up. We've got we're all meeting up at Blade Show here real soon. I just got off the phone with Adam. We're talking about going up there. We'll be up in Atlanta for the next week, and shooting some video up there. He just did an interview with Ron Hood that should be posted out on a podcast. Paul Scheider's going to meet us over there. Chance Sanders, Robert Oliver, and we've got a few other people that are going to be meeting with us. So stay tuned. If you don't see it on my channel, sign on to Equip to Endure. Adam has a YouTube page here if you're not already subscribed to it, or you can subscribe to his website at equiptoendure.com. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there and take care.